social media use for yoga teachers and other movement professionals. So my name is Walsh, I'm an embodiment teacher and I use social media heavily. It's a big part of my business. I would say literally thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of pounds of sales per year comes from social media. I'd say at least half of our participants on the Embodied Facilitator course in Moscow or the UK come from, or at least are heavily supported by social media. What else? My YouTube channel has nearly just shy of 10 million hits, 30,000 Twitter followers. Instagram I'm pretty new to, but blah, blah, blah. Okay, lots of followers on Facebook. I'm particularly known for my Facebook. So this is an integral part of my business. It has been for some time. I was a relatively early adopter in this. I've taught social media before. It's not my job, but I have taught it to people because people regularly ask me, they say, wow, you're doing something a bit different. I like what you're doing. How can I do it? So what is the point of social media? Because it can become kind of an obsession for yoga teachers, to get as many Instagram followers as possible, as many Facebook friends as possible. Let's just step back, breathe, chill out. Why? Is it about being popular, about your ego, the strokes, Because I see some people that have 10,000 followers and don't monetize it. They don't make any money from it. So it's like, well, what are you doing that for? Is it just your ego? Is it? Because it's sort of like a computer game, isn't it? It's like, my Instagram, I've got something like 800 followers on Instagram now, and it's gone up 100. I'm trying to get it to 1,000 now. When are we going to get to 10 million on YouTube? It can be like a computer game, which is fun, but ultimately, this is a video about using it for business. So what's the purpose of it? Well, several possibilities. Building relationships, I think, is the key one. People buy from people buy from people they trust, people buy in relationships. So if someone's followed me on Facebook for a couple of years, they feel like they know me. Now, if I've been authentic, they actually probably do know me to some degree. I'm sharing my pictures of my family and my wife and my ups and my downs. I've got a picture of how bad the toilet was today in the place I'm at. I like to be authentic. We'll talk about that more in a bit. They feel like they know my life, and that's great because then there's trust. And when they come to a course, they feel like they know me. And that's what makes them come to the course is as much the person as the professional offer. So getting to know people, building relationship, building online communities. I use Facebook not just as a way of meeting new people and getting to know them, but also on our courses. We have a on Purpose Black Belt. If you're watching this as part of Purpose Black Belt, this Facebook group is central to that, absolutely central. So you can use social media to support your classes. What questions do you have about the yoga class you've just done if you were too shy to ask? What dance steps you're interested in learning next week in the new run of the tango course? So you can genuinely support for everyone's value the courses you're doing with, say, Facebook groups, yeah? And of course, you can sell directly. There's Facebook ads, things like that. I find they don't work that well if you're talking to strangers, right? People need to know you again. So there's direct sales, but it's like you don't just use the telephone for direct selling, do you? You'd use the telephone to build relationships, to get to know people, to introduce yourself. I meet friends of friends. What I like about it as well is if you're authentic, it attracts the right people. Yeah, so being yourself. There's always going to be a slight persona. My Facebook persona is a bit edgier than I am in real life, but I'm still pretty fucking edgy in real life. It's not that different. I just lean to that side. So if you're going to be on social media, you need to be doing one of about 4 things. There's not many things. So being authentic, absolutely. People are so tired of bullshit. We're so tired of, it's why corporate social media is so bad, because it's too slow to respond, it's too fake, it's just like, yeah, whatever. It's a real problem for the bbig corporations now, actually, because so much selling, so much marketing is social, and they can't do it very well. If you've got to have every tweet checked by 20 layers of people, it's just rubbish, So what do you need to be? You need to be either provocative, that's one of my personal favorites. If you're going to get some attention, it's all about the attention. Not, again, for the ego, but because you want to build trust, relationships, get people to your thing. That's not everyone's style. You can also be touching. Some people like that a lot. I have a colleague, Frankie, he likes very touching posts. I'll do that occasionally, and when it's authentic, Useful, so this is one of my main ones. I'm known for provocation, but useful is the one I'm really doing more. I'm trying to be useful to people. I'm trying to be of value. I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to give stuff away. This is good Jedi marketing generally, the ethical marketing, if that's a new term. Giving stuff away, making people go, oh, wow, I've read his ebook, and that was good. And I looked at a couple of his free videos on YouTube, and that was good. So I might go his course now. That's a sales funnel. I prefer to think of it as a relationship funnel. So that's another way of doing it, is helping people along the sales funnel with the freemium or the content marketing, they sometimes call that. So I use it for that, building relationships. What else? Making announcements, follow up after courses. I mean, there's a bunch of ways you can use it. The different mediums depend on who you want to reach, right? So like, at the moment, at the time of making, Snapchat has a pretty young audience, which if your audience are older might not be so helpful. I haven't got on there yet. I don't really want to, but if I could be an early adopter and claim some real estate, get in there quick and get a lot of followers, maybe I should get in there now. Instagram, is big in the yoga world, so I only started doing that when yoga became more of my business. And you've got to look at, are you good with photography and visual image, in which case Instagram. I prefer actually more like a bit of text, in which case Facebook, but not as short as Twitter. I actually like Facebook. You can put pictures, get to know people. It's a bit different from Twitter. Is your audience on Twitter? Are they more on LinkedIn? Where are your audience? Where do they hang out? Is it, I don't know, where Squarespace? I don't know, whatever. Okay, so social media changes, but the different things people use, but not so much the principles. Oh, events as well, definitely. Groups I use a lot to build interest in a subject. I host open groups, like the Embodied Open Group, and I try and be, sometimes you see a social media, it's like sell, but that's rubbish, right? I would say be useful, be funny, be provocative, be touching. Funny is the other one I like to go for. Be funny, be useful, be funny, be provocative, be useful, sell. Be funny, be useful, be provocative, useful, sell. Do you see what I mean? So we're not just sell. We're actually giving more than we're trying to take. And if you start an open group or you start a forum, you're going to be the go-to person, right? It's like being a conference organizer. You'll become a hub. People send me stuff in the post about embodiment now. I got sent this weird Russian posture adjuster the other day because they thought, I'll be a good person to send that to review it or something. You become a hub, you give, you make community, you make open groups, and we can use actual events for your events. They're kind of a mixed bag. You've got to do them right, and someone saying they're coming on a Facebook event doesn't mean they're actually coming, so you've got to be careful with that. But certainly events can be useful both for promotion and just for managing, what's going on, giving announcements, the general practicalities of it. So it's not the same as someone paying a deposit though, okay? So just be a bit careful with the Facebook events, for example. So I could go into more detail with Facebook or, YouTube and how you use that, but the key thing here is engagement that you're giving. The engagement means people are commenting, liking, sharing. They're not just out there. That you're building community. Lots of ways you can use social media for these kind of things. I hope that gives you some ideas for the life coaches, for the yoga teachers. The same as any social media use, really. Just certain populations tend to use certain ones, like yoga and Instagram, for example. Hope that helps.